time functions. And we went through a number of them, that is data and time functions. And now you can use them to transform your data. So some of the functions that we covered was date. We had a function for date. We had a function called time value, date value, e-date, end of month functions. All of them we learned them yesterday. So I'll share the recording and you'll be able to catch up with the rest. So today we are going to learn about something very important, and this is pivot tables. I'm hoping you've ever heard of pivot tables before. Let me just know if you've ever heard about pivot tables. Olivia, have you ever heard of it?
Yeah.
Agnes,
Yes.
Violet?
No.
Yeah, so Agnes, what do you know about pivot tables?
Uh, Pivot. It's like a summarizing data into. Mi naitumianga wakati. Okay, it's like a summary of the whole data. So you just like. Did you explain? But it's like a summary.
Okay, that's good trial.
Yeah.
Olivia?
Yeah, just like Agnes has pointed out, it gives a summary of maybe whatever data you have. So you are able to know the exact number of whatever data you have according to what you have.
Yeah, all those ideas are correct. So when you hear about pivot tables, think of it as a tool that can enable you generate reports easily. That is, it can allow you to summarize your data quickly. So there are two ways you can build a report, specifically when you are using Excel. One of the ways you can build a report is by using formulas. And formulas, they take time to build, but they are also important. I'm not saying because they take time, they aren't important. They are important. But when you don't have time and you really need to summarize your data very quickly, you can use pivot tables. And it is a very powerful tool in Excel. So it is a fundamental concept that really lays a crucial role in data analysis. So supposing you're having millions of rows, or let me say 1,000 of rows, and you need to summarize that data and generate a report. How will you be able to do that fast without you spending so much time writing complex formulas? So let's first of all know how we can insert a pivot table to our data. So the first step is you have to highlight your data. So for instance, this is the contact center data set that I had shared with you. So if we want to use pivot table to analyze this data, first of all, we need to highlight the data source. And before you can even insert a pivot table in your data, it's a requirement that you check that you have all the column headers for that data set. So you should be having maybe a field that is empty, that is, that doesn't have a name. So all columns must have a name for you to be able to insert a pivot table. Otherwise, it won't work. So we can highlight this data this way. The shortcut for highlighting the whole data set in Excel is Control A. So when you do Control A, if you don't want to do what I did, if you don't want to do this, select the whole data, you can simply do Control A and the whole data is selected. But make sure the cursor is in one of the cells that contains data before you do Control A. Yeah, so those are keyboard shortcuts. So we've highlighted the data this way. So we've made sure all the column headers have names. So pivot table, I think I had introduced previously, is found under the Insert tab on the ribbon. This is where it is. So when I click on Insert, you'll see this option here for pivot table on your top left. So when you click on pivot table, this window will pop up. It is the Create Pivot Table window. So the first argument here is for you to choose the data that you want to analyze. And in our case, you can see it has highlighted the whole table range. You see the last cell is Z501. So this is a data set consisting of 500 records. So if you are referencing an external data source, you'll choose use an external data source. And then you'll have to choose the connection. And then if now, after you've done that, the next thing is to choose where you want the pivot table report to be placed. Do you want this pivot table in the current worksheet that you are currently seeing, or you want it in a new worksheet? So it's yours to decide. But I normally encourage we go with the new worksheet. And then after doing that, we simply click on OK. So when you click on OK, now you'll see a new sheet has been added. It's called sheet 1 at the moment. So in this sheet, we can see a blank canvas here. There's nothing in it, but what we are advised to do is, in order to build a report, choose fields from the pivot table field list. So when you look at your right hand side, you can see pivot tables field lists here. These are the fields that we are talking about. Pivot table field list. So this field list, they are none other than the column headers that we have here. Those are what we are calling them field list. So it's here. And to the bottom left corner, or bottom right, sorry, corner, you can see we have places or sections whereby we can drag fields into. So one of the section is filters, the other one is columns, and we have rows and values as well. So for you to build a report, now here, you see this is empty now. For you to build a report, you need to drag fields into either columns, rows, or values for you to be able to create a report here. And so that's how essentially we build a report in pivot tables. So let's say we want to analyze. I've just pulled the agent name into the rows. So whenever I do that, I want you to pay attention to what is on the left. You can see already these names have been highlighted here, or you can see the name of the agents on the left. So what do you want to achieve? That's the question now. So if, for instance, you've learned your data, you've examined your data very well. So we have these columns for date. So this gives us the date in which these calls were made. And then we have the time. At what time was that call made? And then we have the agent name, the particular agent who handled the call. We have the agent ID, the specific agent who handled the calls. This is his code or her code. Which team does the agent belong to? Is it retention? Is it billing? Is it sales? And then the customer who called. We have the customer ID. We have the customer name. And then customer segment. Is he a regular customer? Or is it a new customer? Or is he a premium customer? We have a call duration. How long did that call? How long did the agent take to handle that call? And then we have the wait time. So the wait time here, this is how long the call waited on queue before it was being handled. Hold time. So this refers to the time the agent kept the customer on hold during this interaction. Wrap-up time. This is after call work. Hope you understand what we mean by wrap-up. And then the call outcome. Was it answered? Was it abandoned? Did the call go to the voicemail or not? And then issue type. So the issue type that was being handled, was it a technical issue? Was it an inquiry? Was it a complaint? And then we have the issue subtype. So in the issue type, what was the subtype of that issue? Was it a refund? Was it a payment issue? Was it an internet issue? And then resolution status. And then did the agent manage to resolve the customer inquiry or complaint? So if he did, it becomes resolved. If it wasn't, maybe it was escalated or follow-up required. Was it an FCR? Was the issue addressed instantly or not? If instantly, then the FCR becomes yes. Then if no, then the FCR becomes no. And then here is the CSAT score. CSAT, how did the customer rate us? Is it 1, 4, 3, 5, whatever? The NPS, how likely was the customer likely to recommend us? This is the NPS. And then occupancy, this tells us how the agent was occupied during the entire shift. Was the service level met? Yes or no? And then the priority. Was the issue of high priority, medium, or low? Was there any need for a callback? Yes or no? And then what was the notes? And then the language. And then we have the channel. So which channel was the customer using? So before even you can build a pivot table, it's essential that you understand your data well. You know what your data is all about, because it is only you who understands what you want. Yeah. So we've now understood what our data is about. Now we can now go and build our pivot table. So here we have the agent. So we want to know, for instance, let me look for call ID. Do we really have call ID here? No? Let me look for agent ID. Then ID. Yeah, on the values. So these are the number of interactions that each agent handled. So, for instance, we can see Alice handled 56 interactions, and then Bob did 40 interactions, and so on. These are the number of interactions for each agent. So you see how easy we've been able to know the number of interactions each agent handles without using formulas. Because, for instance, if we wanted to know the number of interactions done by Alice, done by Bob, we could have used formulas. And this is, we could use the count if formula in order to determine the number of interactions that each agent did. So let's say we want also to know the teams. So notice what I've done. I've taken teams to the columns. And when I take teams to columns, you see now how we've been able to drill down to know the number of interaction of each agent and the teams in which those interactions were falling. So for instance, Alice here, out of the 56 calls that she handled, 11 were for billing, 11 were for retention, 8 were for sales, 13 was for support, and also 13 were for technical operations. So you see we've been able to do this in a very simple manner without us writing complex formulas. So you can build various pivot tables, but this is just to show you the basics of how you do it. I know right now what can be confusing. So if you've never interacted with pivot tables, is when do you now know where to put these fields? Because right now you've just seen I've just dragged agent name to the rows. I've put teams in the columns, and then I have put count of agent ID in the values. Now, how do you determine where to put each field? Yeah, because we don't just drag fields blindly, but we must be guided on how to do it. So if you have categorical variables, so let me just say in this data, if you're having things like agent name, these are strings. They are not values. They are texts. So these ones, most often, you put them on the rows here, on the rows field, right? Also, when you have categorical variables, like you see like team is divided into categories as well. We have sales, retention, support, and technical. Also that can go under the rows here. We have fields also, like for instance, customer segment. Was the customer a new customer, VIP or premium or regular customer? Also that can go on the rows. And also whatever I've highlighted, again, it can go to the columns. So pay attention what is going to the columns. They are strings, they are categorical variables as well. So if you want now to aggregate, and I believe you know aggregate functions. I know this is the spelling of aggregate. So this is aggregate. So aggregate, when you talk of aggregate, you should be thinking of things like sum, average, count, counter. This, when I'm talking about aggregates, you think of such. So it depends now if you want to do a count or counter, you have to know the characteristic of that field. That is the characteristic of data in each field. So which category does this data fall into? Because you can't find a sum for these technical things, surely, because these are text, they are strings. But you can find some of something like all time. You can find some because these are what? These are numbers and these are text. Right? So if we could be having now maybe the number of interactions in terms of values like 6,187, then here on this pivot table field, instead of now having a count, we could be having a sound. But here we are having, we just want to know the number of interactions, but we are not given that in this field as values. They are just text. So that's why we decided to put the count of each agent ID so that we can count each agent's interactions. Yeah. So that's why we went with count, because the characteristic of what we are doing is a string, the text. But if this was, maybe let's take for instance, this was something like, let's say, hold duration. Or let me use agent occupancy. You see, by default, when I pull agent occupancy to the values section, you can see automatically Excel detects that these are values, and automatically it aggregates it, but it is using sum but not count. Hope you are getting this concept. So there are times when you pull a field to values, you might find that it's giving you, for instance, here you see it's giving a sum of agent occupancy, of which is something that we don't want it to be in that form. But what we are interested in is to find the average for agent occupancy. So I told you average is an aggregate function. Sum also is an aggregate function. So here we want to find the average occupancy. So I want you to pay attention to how to change that. So under the value section, we have this drop down here. So when you click on it, this window will pop up, a small window. So if you want to remove the field, you simply select remove field. But if you want maybe to change the aggregate function, you simply click on values field settings. You will have this window open, then choose what you want. So we have count here, we have average, we have max, we have minimum, and we have product. But here we are interested in average. So this is average occupancy. For each agent. For each agent. So nevertheless, it depends with what you want. So if, for instance, this were calls, we could maybe take a sum like this. And this is what we could be having. Yes, is there a hand?
Yeah, it's me. Fred, I was asking of the average or the grand totals. It's supposed to be 100 for every agent, Hama. How do you know there's an error in the average that you're doing?
Because look, this is average, and it doesn't have to sum to 100 or aggregate to 100. Because, for instance, Alice, let me say Alice, average occupancy is 74. Bob, average occupancy is 76. Already this is even above 100. So it doesn't have to be 100% here, unless you are doing proportions. But now here, in this case, it doesn't have to be.
Okay.
Yeah. So are we together up to that point, or have gone very fast?
We're
Yeah.
good.
Okay. So if we are good, then that's very nice. So let's move further and now add something else. We know these are number of interactions for each agent, but this is occupancy for each agent under various teams. So I want to show you how to add a filter. So we have this priority, for instance. I'm just taking it as an example, but we can use any other field. So for priority, look here. So we want to know the occupancy for each agent under the classification for each inquiry, each one of them handled. For instance, you need for high priority. You simply select for high priority and you click on OK. If you need for low priority, simply select low, then OK, like that. That's simple. Medium, select on medium. See how easy that is. So this can actually help you solve any problem that you might encounter. For instance, your manager tells you, I want to know the occupancy for each agent under each team. And he tells you he wants for maybe high priority issues, low priority issues, or medium priority issues. So yours will just be to build a pivot table, then filter it. If it's medium, select medium, and then just click on OK. And you will have your report done within seconds or within minutes. So what we've just seen is we know how to now use filters. So filter, just as the name suggests, is used now to narrow down to what specific thing you want. So we've been able to know the issue categories, that is high, medium, low, and we've been able to know the agent occupancy under each. So having said that, we can also see here, we can have it maybe arranged this way. So I'm also showing you various techniques of aligning this. So I've simply taken teams from columns and just list it in the rows under each under agent name. So, and this is the result that you are seeing currently here. So it's Alice, and then under billing, under retention, under sales, under support, under technical. So it has simply changed the view that we had. And you can see this is what we are having, but the results are just the same. So when you're having few categories and you want to put them in this format, then you can simply use this format. But if you have so many categories and it's taking so many rows, we can use the other option here. Do this. And you are reporting this format. Any question up to that point?
Yes. What if you want to know, like, per day, how many calls are made, or are you supposed to, on the rows, are you supposed to kuweka the date on the column?
On that?
Like, if you want to know on a certain day how many calls were made, how many calls came in.
And that's a good question. So for instance, let me simply take agent occupancy and bring agent ID, because each agent is identified by a unique ID. So we need to know the calls or the interactions. Let us not use calls at this moment, because let's just refer them to as interactions, because under channel you can see it can either be a chat, social media, voice. So let's just call them interaction. Yeah, for medium priority issues, we can able to see that, for instance, Alice, these are the number of interactions that she handled. Those were 19 interactions. So if we want now to know the interactions per date, we can either, let's say we want to, we can add the date filter as well here. So under filters, you can see we've added priority and date fields. So if these are dates that you are seeing here. So for instance, for 1st of November, when we select, we can be able to narrow down and see the number of interactions for each agent. So here under filters, you can see now 1st of November is what is visible now. If you want, let's say a second, you simply select second, and this is what you will have. So for instance, if we select all issue priorities, we can be able to see what each agent was sampling per day. So, but alternatively, we can say, let's take date here. Sorry. So let me remove this. Let me take date here. And let me bring teams here under filters. So date is appearing like that because we have selected only one date, but let us select all dates that. So these are all dates So let's have them in this format. So let's remove the decimals because there are no decimal interactions. They're whole numbers. So each date, as per your question, each date we can be able to know how many interactions each agent handled. So if we want to narrow down for teams, we can now, with brought teams to the filters, we can be able to select, say, retention. Let's say billing. Let's say sales. Let's say support that, or even technical. Or let's say billing. You can select multiple teams. Like let's say we want retention and sales. And this is what we have. On the same page, Agnes?
Yes, but I'm just curious, like, can you create yourself, unaweza jitengenezea hii filter kwa Chromebook? Because
What?
I don't think it works kwa Chromebook. These laptops of ours, the section under priority and team, there's no such section on. Ama kunayo, but I've tried, but there is none.
I think this in Google Sheet is also possible because
Yeah.
when I try to, let's just say, let me just switch my, it's my account, sure. It's also the same logic. So you'll simply go to insert. Pivot tables are there. So insert, just know what it is. Insert pivot tables. Here it is in a new worksheet. So whatever you see on the right here, these are fields. It is in the pivot table editor. So when you compare this section here with this section here, with this section here in Excel, they are the same thing. So for instance, if you want to build a report, so let's take agent name. It's there. You see it's here. Let's say you want to know the interactions. So here values, you take agent.
Okay, sorry to cut you short.
Yes.
But I'm saying, you see the section that you had the priority, rudi nyuma kidogo kwa ile sheet ingine.
Yes, here.
Yeah, this section under priority, like where you're choosing the team, the medium, search. That's hii part ya juu peke
Let,
yake.
let me show you how it is done. Let me show you. So in Google Sheets, if you want to do that filter, you see here, this section here for filters. We select priority. So, but now when you select priority, so it won't appear in this section the way you can see it in Excel. So you have to come down where we have this drop down and select. If it's low, like that, and select the others and then select low. And you have your result. Have you seen?
Yes.
Or alternatively, you can add a slicer here. So let's say for you to add a slicer, just go where that pivot table is, go to data, add a slicer. So this will appear. Let me drag it here at the top. Then when you click on this thing that looks like an inverted triangle, just pay attention to what you're seeing on your right. These are the fields that you choose from. So in our case, we want priority. So we can now select priority. Let's say today, let's go with high. Let's go with low. So this is somehow easier instead of you coming here to add a field. Then for you to maybe select, then you also have to come here again and select. Simply add a slicer like this. And you can add multiple of them. So make sure your cursor is in the pivot table. Go to data, and then add a slicer like that. Let's say this time round, we want for agent team. So you see team is here. Select team, simply do this. So priority here is low, team is technical operations. And it's as simple as that. Also, even to add, let me show you. Even to add, for instance, sorry about that. Even to add, we go to columns. Let's add a date. This is the same pivot table we were looking at in Excel. So we can insert some rows above so that we can text our slicers there. So we can take our slicers there. So you see this, we've put it on columns. the date is in the columns, so we can know the number of interactions each agent was handling for various dates. But if we want to narrow down specific to priorities, to teams, we can add slice and filter. So I hope you've seen the logic. So it's not only working in Excel, but it is also working in Google Sheets as well. It's the same result. So you can maybe decide, maybe this slice again, you can edit them. You can edit them like this. If you want to change their background color, and change them only like this. Go right click, then edit. Sorry. You simply right click and edit and change the color so that it appears nice or it looks good. So if you want to change the date formats in the number formats in Google Sheets, you see here where we have 1, 2, 3. Here, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. What you're seeing here is the same thing as what you're seeing here in Excel. It's the same things here. Even when you go to more number formats, it's the same thing. But in Google Sheet, it is here under more number formats. So you can choose from there. So if we want maybe to show date in this format, only the date and the month, we can simply come here to 1, 2, 3, and then you see this option here, and simply just choose on that, and same report, same result. So this can be achieved in Google Sheets as well. So today's lesson wasn't about Google Sheets, but I was just showing you. Hope you are now fine, Agnes.
Oh, yeah, I've understood. Thank you.
Okay. So if you want lesson for Google Sheets, you can also book a session. I take you through.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, so this is how we can build pivot tables in Excel. So my assumption right now is you've known how to insert pivot tables, how to play along with the various fields, the values, the rows, the columns, the filter, all of them. So there are times when you have your pivot tables, but you are not seeing the fields. Right now, you are expecting maybe when you click a cell in the pivot table, you should be able to see a field list here appearing on the right. But at times, you can't be able to see it, and you actually need to know where to find that. So if you don't see the pivot table field list here, you simply click on the pivot table, go on the ribbon where we have analyze. Pay attention to where we have analyze. So when you click on analyze, you will see navigate to the top right where you see field list. here, field list here. So when you click on field list, you see that it will appear now on the right. And now you can go on with your analysis. Hope we are together up to that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, so sione field list imepotea, and then you are wondering where can I get it? You simply go to analyze, navigate to the top right where we have field list, and then when you simply click on there, you will see your pivot table field list on your right. And then you can proceed with your what? With your analysis. So with that being said, any challenge up to this point? Where can you find a challenge up to where we've reached? Silence means we are all good. So let's proceed. So we have another concept in pivot table. We've seen if you want to maybe drill down your data or to filter your data, you put your data under filters for you to be able to maybe narrow down maybe to specific teams, to specific issue priorities, and so on. So we have another way of doing this. That is a use of slicers. So when you click in one of the cells in the pivot table and you go to the ribbon under analyze, you will see here insert a slicer. So under insert a slicer, so you want to insert a slicer for which field? Is it a date, time? Is it for team? Is it for customer segment? Or what is it? If it is for a date, you simply select date and you click on OK. So when you click on OK, you will see your slicer here for dates. It's highlighting the all dates that are there. So if you want calls for 1st of November, simply click on 1st of November and you see, I hope you are seeing what has happened here. We've narrowed down to only 1st of November. If you want 2nd, simply select second, like that. 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and so on. So that's how to insert a slicer. And you can have slicers for various fields. For instance, here we have a slicer for date. So let's go to the pivot table again. Click one of the cells, go to analyze, go to insert slicer. This time around, let us select the slicer for team. And click on OK. So again, this allows us to drill down our analysis. So you see here we are narrowing down for various teams. So you can put as many slicers as you want, so long as it doesn't overwhelm our analysis or it doesn't appear to be occupying much space. So you can decide to maybe to align your slicers to the left or somewhere to the right, whereby you can be able to drill down. So let's do it one more time. Start a slicer, not a timeliner, a slicer. So let's say issue type. Issue type, is it a complaint, set billing, or what is it? So we can have all these slicers here. Complaints, when we for instance, we selected 10th of November, theme is technical operation, issue type is complaint, and this is the result that you are seeing here. Another thing, if you want to select, for instance, multiple dates in a slicer or multiple items in a slicer, simply select one of the items on the slicer and then hold down Control key on your keyboard. And then you can select multiple items. After you are done, just release your hand or the Control key, and by doing that way, you'll have selected here multiple dates. For technical operations, for issue type is complex. On the same page up to that point, any question?
Please repeat when it comes to now selecting multiple data on
Let's say we want to select multiple teams. So see, technical operations is selected now. Let's say we want support and sales. I'll hold down my Control key and then clicking on each item like this, and then release the Control key. Umeshika.
Oh, so una press and hold Control key. That's it.
Yeah, hold on Control key as you click on the various items.
Okay, okay.
So having done that, so if you want to clear filters, you simply click on this panel here. You've cleared all the filters. Want to clear? Click on that panel. You've cleared the filters. If you want to clear here, click again on this panel. So we've cleared all the filters that we had applied. So this will delve into it tomorrow on how you can now design your slicers to be more organized. For today, tomorrow is on Friday. I'm just forgetting, on Monday. So that's how, in short, how to do slicers. But let's see how you can also do timelines. So just click one of the cells in the pivot table, go to analyze, start a timeline for date. So this is the timeline. So if my data could be having, could include various months, so I could be able to filter by months as well. So for all periods. So if we just filter for November, it will be this. So if we could be having data for July, August, September, October, so we could be able also to filter with that. So because we don't have, when I click on these months, see the pivot table is blank. Yeah, but if you had data, could still be able to filter. So you can also insert timeline. Let's try to see time, what it can give. The existing there, it's achieving the same thing. So on let's say on this timeline, on your top right, just on that timeline, we have this drop down here. So you can now filter with quarters, years, months, or days. Look, when I select days, so it was 1st of November until around 11. So when you see, when I click first, can be able to see here, it's only first that is showing. When I click on second, third, yeah. So that's how to insert timelines and slices in pivot tables. So another concept apart from this that I want us to cover quickly. Let me just remove these ones. Remove this. So is what we want of your pivot table. How can you format your pivot tables? And format we mean by design, for instance, design, and also we look at things like sorting. So far we sorting your pivot table. Suppose we want to know the agent with the highest number of interactions. We simply right click on the totals here. We right click and then we go to sort. So under sort, we have sort smallest to largest and sort largest to smallest. So we select sort largest to smallest, and you can see now our pivot table has been sorted. So David had the highest number of transactions, and then followed by Grace, then Alice. So if you want to sort maybe with the agents who had least interactions, then we can do this. Sort maybe smallest to largest. So Bob had the least number of interactions, followed by Frank, and then followed by Julia. Are we together up to that point on sorting?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So another thing is on design of your pivot tables. So I don't want us to end this lesson today because I feel there are a lot of things which we will not be able to finish. So it will extend till Monday. So under pivot tables, you can decide on the design. So when you click inside a cell in a pivot table, you'll see on your ribbon another tab that is added. So pay attention. If I don't click a cell in this pivot table, pay attention to what is on the ribbon. There is no analyze, there is no design tab. But when I click a cell inside the pivot table, you can see we have the analyze tab has appeared and also the design tab as well. So for us to be able to change the design, we have to click on a cell inside the pivot table. Then go to design. Then we can select various designs that we want. So you can choose what you want, actually. I'm just highlighting. And choose the design that pleases you. So just what works for you here. We'll just have to choose it. And you'll choose what works for you. So that was how to do designs. So if you want these formats here, they are also available. If you feel this one pleases you, can go with this. This will now depend on you. So we'll decide. So apart from the table design on pivot tables, you can analyze. Under analyze, when you go to options. So when you go to options, sometimes when you're doing things like averages, you might get some errors like if error, valid error. So in such cases, when you come to options here and navigate to where we have format, so any error that maybe will appear in your pivot table, you can decide maybe to put by default should appear blank. Any empty cell should appear blank, then click on. Okay, we'll cover that later. So if you want to display grand totals, display row grand totals and column grand totals, you can also choose it here. So for instance, let's say we want to show grand totals for rows alone. Now you see grand totals for rows alone here. We don't see grand totals for columns. So under still analyze, under options, let's say for columns this time round, we don't see totals for rows here. It's only for columns. Have you gotten that hook?
Yes.
Yes, but
Okay.
can we have both? Is it
Yes.
possible? Okay.
Yes, it's possible. So you simply select both of them. Here, here. Yeah. So that's it, how to do that. So, but don't worry, we'll repeat this on Monday because where am I? So then the other things here, I wanted for layouts. Don't know where it is. It's under design. So you can decide the layout of your pivot table. That is under the report layout. So you can decide to show your report in compact form. So right now it is in compact form. Outline form. Just pay attention to what's happening here when I select various options. So this is currently that's outline. Yeah, so let's say we want it in compact form like that. Let's say we want it in outline, in tabular, and see. So this is in tabular format. It's really very good. It's the option that I normally choose, tabular. So that's it, how to do the design of your report. So you can design the themes just the way I'd shown you. Then you can also decide on the report layout. So if you want to insert a blank line after each item, you can. That is if you had maybe decided to rearrange your pivot table, you could go with that option. So that will explore on Monday. So I wish to stop there for today, unless there is any question.
All right. Thanks, Fred. I hope we'll be having this recording tomorrow plus the other one.
Yeah,
I really
sure.
want back to it.
Yeah, tomorrow I think I have an easy time because I've had issues back to back today, so that's why I haven't gotten the time to share the recording for yesterday. So tomorrow during the day you'll get all the recordings.
All right. Sasa, thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. So I'm hoping you've learned something new today.
Yes, I actually didn't know that pivoting is quite wide. Yeah, so it was interesting. That's why I would love to go through it again on my own at my free time.
Internalizing.
Yeah. So let me stop the recording so that I don't lose it.